Hey everyone, Marcus, the weather coach here with another video. And today I wanted to talk about, dealing with negative feedback from viewers. So this past week I was working and an email was sent to the entire newsroom, and it was basically commenting that I wasn't hitting the T's on words like west, east, north, south, things like that. And the commenter basically said, learn how to speak English or speak better. And I thought that was kind of funny just because I thought I spoke pretty good English to begin with. But again, nobody's perfect. We all have room to grow and learn. But it had me thinking, okay, what should I do in response to this person's comment? Now, typically what I do if I ever receive any type of negative feedback, I take a step back and I look to see if there's any validity in their comment. I try not to think about their comment too deeply so that my feelings won't get hurt per se. But if they're making a valid point, I can always make an adjustment and go from there. And so I didn't get a chance to look at other weather recordings just to see if I was hitting the T's on those words like east or west. But either way, I was like, okay, that's something I could make note of. I've taken voice lessons before, so I know that's one of the things I've worked on in the past. And maybe sometimes when you're not paying attention, you can fall back into old habits. So, I give this person some credit for saying it, or at least bringing it to my attention. But I definitely didn't appreciate the tone at which the email was sent, the message was sent. And so that's always something I guess you have to deal with when you work in television or when you work in a public-facing position. So if I was to give any advice to a meteorologist out there on how to respond to negative feedback, I typically would say step back, assess whether or not the commenter has some validity to what they're saying. Try to ignore how they said it and just focus on what it is they're trying to tell you. And then from there, decide if you want to make those changes that they're suggesting or not. You don't always have to follow any random person's comment because that comment may not be representative of your work, but it is something to think about. Then from there, if you're deciding to respond back to the person, always keep it professional, always keep it extra nice, kill them with kindness, because ultimately, you don't want to necessarily make something look bad on you by your response. And I know in the past, people have been successful or have been able to really share how they felt when it's come to certain comments that viewers have made or people on social media have made. But honestly, I don't think it's really worth it. Don't waste your time. Just keep it as polite and professional as possible. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. And then keep it moving. Or if you really want to or don't want to, you do not have to respond. There's not an obligation to respond to a negative comment. I typically still respond just to let them know that I am a human, that you're actually talking to a person and not just a random object that you can speak to any type of way. And typically when you respond, I would say more than half the time, you get a usual positive response from that person, if you get a response at all. So those are just some of the things I would think about. Really think about what the person is actually saying, not so much how they say it, which can be a little annoying. Then from there, decide on if you want to make that adjustment in your presentation. And then from there, decide also if you want to respond to this person. Again, you have no obligation to respond to anybody that's being mean-spirited or negative, but it is something that you could do, but just keep it very professional. Write it as if they wrote you the best letter possible or the best message possible. So that way, at least you're protected on your end. But again, there is no obligation to respond to these people. All right, well, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know if you've had experiences of your own when it's come to negative feedback from viewers or maybe not so nice comments, disrespectful comments. I know the ladies in terms of TV in general, they get that a lot more, I think, than men do. But I think we're all susceptible to people giving us feedback in not so kind ways. All right, until the next video, thanks for watching and enjoy your day.